Chapter 31 When Facing King. Give me the most expensive wine, the best meat. Lu Chen pretended to be a fortune teller, lightly tapping the table with his hand. Afterwards, I will bring out the best wine from my wine cabinet to entertain you. The most expensive wine in my house is a bottle of Lafite from the 90s, which costs over 10,000 yuan per bottle. As for the dishes, my wife is preparing them right now. Village Chief Duan presented a very generous appearance. A bottle of wine is afraid not nearly enough. I am prepared to set up the 7 stars formation, requiring the placement of 49 large bowls, each filled with wine. Liu Wai laughed and added, while Master Liu is in a good mood, quickly deploying the formation will bring results. 49 large bowls, and each bowl must be filled with wine. How much Lafite do we have to pour? My family only has 3 bottles of Lafite in total, Mayor Duan said with great distress. No matter what wine is poured into the bowl, the best must be offered first at home. Liu Wai replied solemnly. Only when your heart is sincere enough can I help you. Offer good offerings to the gods, and only then will they bless you with greater wealth. Alright, it looks like I'll have to take out all the Maotai bottles from the wine cabinet. Village Chief Duan gritted his teeth, turned to his side, and called out to Cheng Dana and Huang Erqiang. Next, it seems we'll have to bring up several dozens of bottles of Maotai. You two come help me move the bar. The village chief Duan, you are too extravagant, using Lafite and Maotai for business. How much money does that cost? Chengda exclaimed in shock. Segment Chief Duan squeezed out a smile and said, Come, follow me to the room and help me move the wine. Despite appearing relaxed on the surface, his heart is actually bleeding. After a moment, 3 people entered the wine cellar, where several wine cabinets were filled with various famous wines, both red and white. Lu Qing glanced around the room and saw the dazzling array of fine wines on the wine cabinet. He couldn't help but curse softly. Really fat pig, I've made a lot in these years, just the hidden wine is probably worth tens of thousands. Henf, get rid of it. Liu Wai's mouth curved slightly as he chuckled softly, saying, Let's cooperate well, and then we can indulge in shopping to our heart's content. How did you lose? Lu Chen wondered. Looking at Lu Chen, Liu Wai smiled and said, You can even tell that the village head's wife isn't wearing underwear with just one look. It's such a trivial matter. I don't even need to teach you about it. That was completely guessed, Lu Chen said awkwardly with a smile. You go to hell. Liu Wai sneered at Lu Chen and rolled his eyes, saying, Peeping at women is your specialty. I caught you peeping at me several times. Duan village chief's wife is dressed so revealingly, you can easily figure it out by using a little trick. Tell me the truth, did you take a peek at the village chief's wife when she bent over just now, and only then did you realize she wasn't wearing underwear? Lu Shen quickly shook his head. This is really not it. He saw it with his heavenly eye, but this thing cannot be said. This matter is again inexplicable. During an awkward moment, the village chief approached with a smile on his face, trying to please everyone. Master Liu, the wine is set, the bowls are set, can the ceremony begin now? Lu Chen glanced at the ground and asked curiously, These Maotai wines are probably quite expensive, right? The village head smiled relaxedly and said, It's not expensive, just around 3,000 yuan per bottle. Adding 3 bottles of Lafite, it's just over 100,000 in total. This amount of money is nothing. I can sell the wood from the back mountain and make it back. Shouldn't the wood from the back mountain be owned by all of you villagers? Lu Chen asked curiously. Exactly, it is indeed the villagers, but only I have that power. Mayor Duan answered proudly to Lu Chen. The people in our village are all fools. Originally, the mountain forests could have been sold for 200,000 yuan, but I sold them for only 50,000 yuan. Then I received a kickback of 150,000 yuan from Boss Bao, and no one in the village dared to speak up. Haha. This money is really easy to make. Very good. Since your ability allows it, then I will give you another powerful array. Lu Chen pretended to be serious and said, later on, prepare 81 large bowls. Then bring out your best wine from your home and fill each bowl to the brim. He thought to himself, since this scoundrel has been exploiting the people and making a lot of money, let's just go all out and ruin his family. What? Another 99 bowls of wine required, and next, Isn't it necessary to display dozens of bottles of Maotai? Village chief couldn't help but respond with tremendous anguish. Calculating this bit by bit, these two rejoicings are going to cost about 200 to 300,000. This ensures that my liquor cabinet has been emptied completely. In response to this array, Liu Wai laughed and said, "The 7-7 formation is for gathering wealth for you, 7-7-49, indicating good luck weekly, while the 9-9 formation is for warding off disasters, indicating resolving the difficulties of 9-9-81. Originally, you would have to experience 81 disasters to obtain these riches, but now Master Lu is setting up a 9-9 formation for you, making it easier to resolve them. Just lie down and make money effortlessly. With this sincerity, villas, mansions, beautiful women, and everything else you desire will come to you. Don't forget how you made your fortune." This girl speaks without hesitation. Lu Chen is surprised with eyes wide open and mouth agape. Originally, village chief Duan, who felt extremely heartbroken, immediately agreed enthusiastically upon hearing that this was a formation to dispel disaster. "All right, I will bring out the best wine from our home. Come on, Mayor Cheng, bring your brothers and accompany me to move the wine." "Go." The three of them grunted and turned back into the room to move the wine. After a moment, he again arranged 99 large plates and filled them all with wine. The whole team was exhausted, with 3 people dripping with sweat. "All right. Village Chief Duan can let your wife serve the food, and I will pray for your wealth and dispel disaster while eating." Lu Chen calmly gestured towards Village Chief Duan. The village chief smiled and responded, "All right, I will arrange it." He then turned and shouted towards the kitchen, "Wife, are the dishes ready? Hurry up and serve the food." Walking on small steps, wearing a bright apron, Bei Shesha quickly ran towards the hall, exclaiming, "Here comes, here comes." She lowered her head and glanced around. The ground was covered with bowls and there were many bottles of Maotai liquor placed nearby. The air was filled with a strong smell of alcohol. Suddenly, her face darkened. "Oh my goodness, is this a bar in this bowl? Why pour so much wine? How much does this cost?" The village chief replied in a relaxed manner, "Daughter-in-law, no problem, no problem. We've only consumed around 70 bottles of Maotai and 3 bottles of Lafite. I roughly calculated it, and it's only about 300,000. "Oh my! Does it really cost 30,000 for a funeral?" Bei Sasha looked at Lu Chen and Liu Wai with great distress, questioning, "Is it necessary to waste money like this? Refund, must refund." "Dear, stop messing around. Master Lu is helping us set up a feng shui formation to gather wealth and ward off disasters." Chief Duan happily greeted Liu by Bei Shasha's side, quietly persuading, "Master Lu is a highly respected figure possessed by the gods. He can see things that ordinary people can't. If he dares to do this, there must be a reason. Don't forget, you're not wearing any underwear, and he can still figure it out. This guy definitely knows his stuff." In response to the array, "There's no reasoning at all." Bei Shasha bit her lip, unwillingly, and replied, "I even suspect that just now, this guy accidentally saw me without underwear when I was tying my shoelaces." "Wife, don't talk nonsense. Village Chief Duan is afraid of offending Lu Chen." With a sneer, Beisha defiantly lifted his chest and glanced at Lu Chen, saying, "Master Lu, why don't you calculate something for me? If you can't figure it out, you'll have to pay us back for all this alcohol money." She has already returned to the room to put on a new pair of underwear and changed into jeans, naturally not having to worry about accidentally exposing herself, letting people see. "What if it is calculated?" Lu Chen said coldly. "If it's calculated, you don't have to pay for the alcohol. I will also give you an extra $3,000 red packet." White raised his face and answered. Liu Wai also felt a bit anxious. She guessed that previously, Lu Chen saw through the strong light in the villa yard and caught a glimpse of the village head's wife's slim figure under her thin skirt. Therefore, as soon as I spoke, I was caught in the act. But now, all the women in the village, including the village chief's wife, are wearing thick denim jeans. How can we still watch? Thinking about this, Liu Wai gritted his teeth and said, 3,000 is too little. If you want, I'll give you 100,000 in cash. This is the minimum respect for a great master." She is certain that the other party cannot come up with so much cash. "All right, 10,000 is 10,000. Shasha turned her head towards village chief Duan and said, "Honey, go get the money. I want him to calculate it on the spot." "Kai-Fu, don't be like this," village chief Duan said nervously to Shasha. "You mustn't offend Master Lu." "I didn't offend him, I'm actually giving him money." Shasha smiled smugly and swayed her slender waist, saying, "If he can figure out the color of my underwear, I'll give him 100,000. In response to his brother, "I think what sister-in-law said makes sense." Cheng Vin-na also purposely leaned into village chief Duan's ear and advised, "True gold fears no fire. A true master is not afraid of tests." Watching the excitement without fearing anything, he also wants to verify Lu Chen's strength once again. Anyway, he doesn't have to spend money. After a moment of silence, village chief Duan smiled and nodded at Master Lu. "Master Lu, I apologize for the inconvenience." Lu Chen slightly closed his eyes without making a sound. The old man pushed the village chief towards the money. The village chief nodded and turned to go into the room. After a moment, he came out with a plastic bag, holding $100,000. Taking the banknotes, Beisha handed them to Lu Chen and placed them beside him. She swayed her hips and said, "Master Lu, try to guess the color of the clothes I'm wearing now. If you get it right, this 10,000 yuan is yours." Liu Wei was in such a hurry that his forehead broke out in a fine sweat. She blinked at Lu Chen, indicating that he should be ready to make a run at any time. "I don't want this money." In chapter 32, there is something fishy going on. Yes, this fool likes to peep at women. I can testify, yesterday at noon that idiot peeked at our boss's wife and got beaten by our co-workers. Two fellow workers walking with Cheng Dajuan also chuckled in response. "Wow, so this guy is not only a fool but also a pervert." Beisha Shaoling snorted, pointed at Lu Chen with his hand, and shouted to village chief Duan, "Honey, hit him." "Wife, don't talk nonsense." Village chief Duan was afraid of offending Lu Chen, so he quickly stopped White Sands and advised, "Lu Chen is a fool, but now he is possessed by a god, so he is a god. Don't forget, just now he really hit the mark on many things. You weren't wearing any underwear and he still could figure it out. If this isn't a god, what is it?" With a sneer, Beisha defiantly lifted his chest and glanced at Lu Chen, saying, "Master Lu, why don't you calculate something for me? If you can't figure it out, you'll have to pay us back for all this alcohol money." She has already returned to the room to put on a new pair of underwear and changed into jeans, naturally not having to worry about accidentally exposing herself, letting people see. "Yes. Let this fool figure out what color underwear's sister-in-law is wearing. I want to see if he has the ability." Cheng Dajuan also exclaimed excitedly. After Cheng Dajuan asked, "What's the matter with you?" Village chief sternly glared at him and replied, "This is my wife. Why are you so excited?" I'm sorry, village chief Duan. I let my mouth run off." Cheng Dajuan said apologetically as he awkwardly used his hand to slap his own mouth. "Master Lu, you're good at math." Shasha gleefully patted his thigh and said, "Why did you calculate me? What color underwear am I wearing inside?" "How is it going?" Lu Chen asked coldly. "If it's calculated, you don't have to pay for the alcohol. I will also give you an extra $3,000 red packet." White raised his face and answered. Seeing the glaring and intimidating appearance of the white sand, Liu Wei also felt a little panicked. She speculated that previously Lu Chen had seen a glimpse of the village chief's wife's figure through the strong light in the villa courtyard. Therefore, as soon as I spoke, I was caught in the act. But now, all the women in the village, including the village chief's wife, are wearing thick denim jeans. How can we still watch? Thinking about this, Liu Wei gritted his teeth and said, 3,000 is too little. If you want, I'll give you 100,000 in cash. This is the minimum respect for a great master. She is certain that the other party cannot come up with so much cash. All right, 10,000 is just 10,000. Shasha turned her head and shouted to her husband on the side, "Mayor Duan, honey, go get the money. I want to make him do the math on the spot." "Wife, don't do this." Village Chief Duan said nervously to Beisha, "Don't offend Master Lu." "I did not offend him, I am actually giving him money." Shasha smirked proudly and twisted her slender waist, saying, "If he can truly guess the color of my underwear, I will give him 100,000. If he has the ability, then he can easily earn this money. What a great opportunity. Big brother, I think what sister-in-law said makes sense. Chang De took the opportunity to whisper in Elder Duan's ear. True gold fears no fire. A real master is not afraid of tests. Let Master Lu give it a try. The saying goes that watching a big show doesn't shy away from big things. Chang De also wants to verify Lu Chen's strength again. Anyway, he doesn't need to pay. At that, Mayor Duan smiled and nodded towards Mr. Lu, reluctantly saying, I'm sorry to trouble you, Master Lu. My wife insists that you help her with something. Would you kindly take a look for her? When these words were spoken, the two workers behind Cheng Dajuan couldn't help but laugh. Idiot, look quickly. The village chief's wife wants you to see other people's true colors. The fortune has arrived. Take a closer look at what color underwear the person is wearing. Two workers laughed so cheekily that they made the fair skin on one of their faces turn red. Honey, I didn't say let the idiot see me. I asked him to guess what I am wearing. It's about guessing, not looking. Bei Shasha glared angrily at two workers. After staring at the two workers, the village chief angrily scolded, It's counting, not looking. Besides me, no one else has the right to see my wife's underwear. Sorry, village chief, we were wrong. The two workers had a look of embarrassment on their faces. On the side, Cheng Dena and others couldn't help but secretly chuckle. Duke, please calculate it for us. Mayor Duan smiled and nodded towards Lu Chen. Lu Chen closed his eyes and made no sound. Bring the money first. Liu Wei retorted coldly. The old man pushed the village chief towards the money. The village chief nodded and turned to go into the room. After a moment, he came out with a plastic bag, holding $100,000. Taking the banknotes, Beisha handed them to Lu Chen and placed them beside him. She swayed her hips and said, Master Lu, try to guess the color of the clothes I'm wearing now. If you get it right, this 10,000 yuan is yours. Lu Chen's eyelids droop, not looking directly at the other person. In fact, he has already activated his clairvoyance. After seeing Lu Chen, Liu Wei remained silent, his forehead breaking out in a cold sweat from anxiety. She blinked at Lu Chen, indicating that he should be ready to make a run at any time. I don't want this money. Mr. Lu, why don't you speak up? Bai Asha laughed proudly, swaying her waist with a flirtatious movement. She smiled and asked, Speak up. What color am I wearing? Lu Chen smiled and shook his head, saying, You still haven't worn it. As the conversation fell silent, everyone turned their heads to look at the village chief's wife. The village chief curiously asked in a soft voice, Did you wear it in the end? Of course I wore it, and it was a very expensive one, over 1,000 each. Bei Shasha replied coldly, then turned to glare at Lu Chen and said, You fool, so you were just pretending to be mysterious. You were accurate just now, but now you're not. What does that mean? It means you peeked at it. Fool, I can overlook you peeking at me, but stealing my family's money, you're in big trouble. After listening to the words, Shende laughed out loud. You fool, you are done. How dare you peek at the village chief's wife? I think you are tired of living. Ha ha. This fool is in big trouble tonight. It's over. The mainland fool is completely over. Two workers also all smiled proudly. I go, how did this guy calculate so accurately just now, but now it's not working? Chengde also looks puzzled. Huang Erqiang couldn't help but suspect. Could this boy even have been spying on the two of us? After Master Lu Yu, village chief Duan's face suddenly darkened. He turned to look at Lu Chen, and blood surged in an instant. Thinking about tonight, holding a ritual will cost us 300,000. This is no small amount. His heart has become capable of murder. The village chief rushed over to Lu Chen in a fit of anger, ready to start a fight. Do not touch him. Liu Wei stepped forward, opened his arms, and made a blocking gesture. After standing up, Lu Chen smiled and nodded towards village chief Duan, saying, When I said your wife wasn't wearing anything, I meant that whether she wears it or not, it's the same. After all, there's only one piece of fabric, only 2 fingers wide, so it shouldn't be called underwear. I can't believe you can tell. Blushing with a white face, she suddenly turned away shyly and twisted her waist before walking away. Wife, is what he said true? Mayor Duan asked curiously towards Beisha. You're not wearing underwear. So what are you wearing? Oh my, Is it the most expensive thong you gave me? Baishasha's face turned red as she glanced at village chief and said, asking a question you already know the answer to, the most expensive thing is indeed this. Haha, it seems Master Lu's prediction was spot on. This thing really does look the same whether you wear it or not. Every time you put on this thing and flaunt it in front of me, I always thought you weren't wearing anything. Village Chief Duan smirked proudly as he wrapped his arms around Baishasha's slim waist, eyeing her curvaceous body with particular excitement. After these words were spoken, Cheng Da and others couldn't help but whisper and discuss quietly one by one. I'm going. The village chief still knows how to play. Haha, the T-shaped layout is finally out. The happiness of wealthy people is unimaginable. One piece of fabric costs over $1,000. That thing is really valuable. A few big men looked curiously towards the white sand. Only Cheng Dazhuang showed a skeptical expression about life, constantly shaking his head. This is impossible. This is impossible. How could this fool figure out what the village chief's wife is wearing? Is this even a human? On the side, Liu Wei frowned and looked puzzledly at Lu Chen, secretly admiring the person in front of her. At this moment, Mayor Duan had a sweet smile on his face, hugging Bai Shasha tightly and occasionally praising Lu Chen a few words. Wow. This fortune teller is amazing. He can even predict what my wife is wearing, and he even got it right that she's wearing thong underwear. Incredible. Annoying. Why are you shouting so loudly? Everyone can hear you. Baishasha glanced at the village chief, lightly nudged him, and whispered, It seems that this Master Lu is indeed quite impressive. After reading the array, village chief Duan nodded excitedly and lightly tapped his white and shiny thigh, saying, Wife, go and give them the money. Promising the master something must be followed through. Smiling sweetly, Baishasha handed the 100,000 yuan respectfully to Lu Chen and said, Master Lu, I was disrespectful before. If I have offended you in any way, please forgive me. Here, take this 100,000 yuan as promised. Please accept it. Master Liu, please accept it. Lu Chen said lightly as he glanced at Liu Wei. After saying thank you, Liu Wei quickly reached out and took the money. Wait, there's something fishy here, Cheng Da suddenly exclaimed. Chapter 33 Being kicked out of the door. Village chief gave Cheng Dazhuang a fierce look and asked, What are you up to again, kid? After Lu Chen pretended to be a fool, Cheng Dazhuang loudly advised village head Duan. This bastard has already swindled many people. In the afternoon, he even swindled a girl at the hospital, taking her gold watch. Quickly get back that $100,000. Upon hearing this, village chief Duan angrily shouted at Cheng Dazhuang. Master Lu can even figure out the color of my wife's underwear, so is it necessary for you to slander him? No. Village chief Duan, listen to me, there must be something fishy going on here. Cheng Dazhuang anxiously replied to village chief Duan. If I'm not mistaken, this kid definitely peeked at his sister-in-law beforehand. After glancing at it, village chief Duan impatiently pushed Cheng Dazhuang, saying, My wife just changed her pants. Master Lu has been in the hall the whole time, never leaving our sight. How could he have peeked? It's simply not possible. Oh, I see. It must be his wife who signaled to him. Cheng Dazhuang suddenly slapped his forehead and said, It must be like this. Otherwise, how could this fool figure it out? Cheng Dazhuang completely lost his temper. After hearing what Cheng Dazhuang said, Baishasha was instantly furious, her chest heaving. She turned around and cried out to village chief Duan, Duan Wood, look at the kind of friends you have. How could I possibly tell Master Lu about this? Is it necessary for me to bend my elbows outward? Isn't that just giving money to someone? Cheng Dazhuang somewhat embarrassedly whispered, You should think about it again. But how does this kid know what you're wearing inside? Sister-in-law, there must be a problem. Or maybe you should think carefully again. Is there a problem in one of the processes? A colleague showed a sudden realization expression on his face as he said, Oh my goodness, could it be that the village chief's wife and this young man are having an affair? Another colleague also quietly added the sentence, Daughter-in-law, you don't really have an affair with Master Lu, do you? Village chief Duan suspiciously widened his eyes. Duan Wood, you actually don't even believe me? Wei Shasha cried out in anger, Wow, and started sobbing loudly. I just met Master Lu today, how could you doubt me? I can't live anymore. While saying that, the woman is about to run into a wall. Duan Kun Chang hurriedly hugged Bai Shasha, saying, daughter-in-law, please don't act rashly, I was just asking casually. Upon seeing this, Cheng Da also stepped forward and said to Village Chief Duan, Village Chief Duan, the sister-in-law is innocent. Master Lu truly has great skills. He not only can figure out what the sister-in-law is wearing, but he also can even figure out that my cousin's underwear has a hole in it. Isn't that right? After hearing this sentence, yes, how could I forget about this? Village Chief slapped his forehead, then gently patted his wife's back and comforted her, saying, wife, don't cry, it's my fault. I shouldn't have believed in greedy words. I'll buy you a 100,000 yuan purse later, okay? Bei Shasha wiped her eyes with a hint of grievance, then turned her head and pointed at Cheng Dazhuang, saying, honey, kick this jerk out. After gritting his teeth, Mayor Duan pointed at Cheng Dazhuang and shouted, get out of here. I don't want to see you again. No. Village Chief Duan, listen to me. Lu Chen, this fool, definitely has a problem. I suspect that my sister-in-law must have carelessly leaked some information to this kid. Cheng Dazhuang wanted to explain further. Upon seeing Cheng Dazhuang, the village chief shouted, you little brat, still doubting whether I am having an affair with Master Lu's wife. Watch me beat you to death. He then picked up a bottle of Maotai liquor and smashed it towards Cheng Dazhuang's head. After being scared, Cheng Dazhuang turned around and ran away, shouting, don't hit, don't hit. The village chief, infuriated, directly threw the bottle away. With a loud crash, the wine bottle hit Dazhuang's back, causing him to cry out in pain and rush out of the villa as if his life depended on it. The wine bottle fell to the ground with a loud clang, and the glass shattered all over the floor. I'm going so powerful. Let's go. Two workers were so scared that they shrunk their necks and then turned and ran out of the villa. I lost to that idiot again tonight. Cheng Dazhuang jumped on the motorcycle and two workers also got on the vehicle. After saying this, Lu Chen said, you wait. You won't be able to hide for long. I will definitely expose you. Cheng Dazhuang started his motorcycle and drove away with a loud rumble. After walking away, do not pay him any attention. Mayor Duan glanced outside and then smiled, nodding towards Lu Chen, saying, Master Lu, let's continue with our ceremony. After putting the dishes on the table, Lu Chen smiled calmly and rubbed his stomach, saying, I'm a little hungry. After this, Liu Wei also laughed and rubbed his stomach. I'm going to serve the two masters right away. Beisha nodded with a smile, turned around and went to serve the dishes. Upon seeing his younger brother make such a mess of things, Cheng Dana felt embarrassed to stay any longer. Mayor Duan, I think I should go back as well. I also want to go back. Huang Erqiang nodded along. The village chief smiled and said to the two of them, I still want to invite you to play mahjong. Both of them had supper before leaving. The next day, Cheng Da smiled somewhat sheepishly and nodded, then pointed to Lu Chen and said, by the way, I would like to ask Master Lu to help me perform a borrowing ceremony as well. Liu Wei agreed with a smile, saying, okay, as long as the money is in place, it's a deal. How much money? Cheng Da laughed and asked. After showing 50,000, Liu Wei extended his hand. Upon seeing how expensive it was, Cheng Da's face was full of shock as he widened his eyes and exclaimed, this is so expensive. After saying, if you think it's too expensive, then don't buy it. Liu Wei arrogantly lifted the teacup and started drinking tea. Brother, don't worry about the price of good goods. Village Chief Duan smiled and persuaded Liu Wei aside. To be honest, I borrowed my luck through the trap set up by Master Liu's master, Master Mo, and got it from a poor gangster. It only took me 8 years to become a boss with a net worth of tens of millions, become a village chief, and marry a beautiful woman. The man named Cheng Dazhuang nodded slightly, then smiled at Liu Yi and said, Master, could you help me borrow the luck of the whole village and transfer it to me alone, so that I can earn several 100,000 or even millions in just 1 year? The village chief chuckled triumphantly. Back then, I thought about borrowing the luck of the whole village, but I never imagined making millions in just 1 year. Haha, let them eat dirt. What does it matter if I earn a little more? Cheng Da smiled and said, It doesn't matter to me if those fools in the village die, as long as I get rich. Village Chief Cheng, don't forget, Master Lu is also from your village, Liu Wai reminded with a sneer. I'm sorry. Cheng Da hurriedly turned around, smiling and nodding at Lu Chen, explaining, Lu Chen, I am not targeting you. I don't lend my luck to your whole family, just to the people in the village. I am not Lu Chen. Whether you borrow his luck or not has nothing to do with me, Lu Chen said in an ambiguous manner, shaking his head. After speaking, he winked at Liu Wai and gestured to cooperate. Liu Wai immediately understood, and with a smile, he said, Master Lu is just temporarily possessed by a powerful spirit. He is not a fool. You can borrow the luck of the whole village as you please, including that of the fool Lu Chen himself. After swallowing a bit of saliva, Cheng Dazhao leaned towards Liu Wai and whispered softly, Then I need to borrow all the good luck of the Lu family. I heard that their ancestral tomb is good, pointed out a feng shui treasure, and actually produced the top scholar in our city, which is Master Lu. Unfortunately, he couldn't sustain it, couldn't hold on, and 5 years ago he got hit by a car and became a fool. When it comes to this, Cheng Da deliberately pointed his finger at Lu Chen. I can't believe it, Lu Chen turned out to be the top scorer in Dragon City. Amazing. Liu Wai looked at Lu Chen in shock. Hoops, did I speak too loud? I hope Master Lu didn't hear me. Cheng Dina covered his mouth with his hand. No problem, I said it. The current him is not stupid like before, Liu Wai said seriously. You can say whatever you want, just pretend he doesn't exist. Lu Chen pretended to close his eyes, pretending to rest. In fact, he heard everything. He wanted to see how greedy and how bad Cheng Da is. Exciting? Let's do it. Master Liu, whenever you have time, I would like to invite you to set up a game and borrow all the good luck from the people in our entire village. Cheng Dazhao smiled and said to Liu Wai, including Master Lu's. Liu Wai glanced at Cheng Da and coldly said, However, you must consider carefully. Borrowing luck from the bureau will come at a great cost. The more luck you borrow, the greater the damage to the local villagers. It is highly probable that it will lead to the destruction of some villagers' homes and lives who are already struggling with low fortune. Regarding this array, haha, it's okay, they have nothing to do with me. As long as I get the money, it's all good. Cheng De answered with a smile. Master Liu, you boldly go ahead and do it. Lu Chen listened and silently cursed. This bastard is really bad, disregarding the lives of others, only caring about getting rich, just like village chief Duan, he deserves to die. After Liu Wai performed well, I directly offered him a high price. The beautiful woman stood up, smiling and glanced at Chief Cheng, saying, Chief Cheng, if you want to make money quickly, you must double the harm to the villagers, and even harm me. So you must pay more. #ERO. Let's give 200,000 together. Liu Wai's face expressionless, extended a scissors hand. This is so expensive. Cheng Da's face showed a look of heartache. After saying that, Liu Wai sat down and continued to drink tea. Let's go, walk. Then let's set off tonight. Cheng Dazhuan couldn't wait and laughed, saying, As soon as it's light out, the villagers will start making money. The sooner I borrow money, the sooner I'll get rich, haha. Let them be poor, I'll be the only one getting rich in the whole village, haha. Chapter 34, The Hateful Person. After we finish handling village chief Duan's family affairs, you can come along with me to visit your village. Liu Wai calmly responded to Cheng Data. First, go see the terrain of your village, then go gather the 200,000 yuan in cash, and then come find me. Here. This is my business card. While speaking, she handed over a business card. I'll be shameless and accompany you two for a drink. Cheng Da smiled and replied. No, none of you are qualified to drink with me. Liu Wai said arrogantly, raising his face. Later, I will have a drink with the great mage Liu. The way this great mage practices magic is different from ordinary mages. Drinking while practicing makes it even more effective. Understanding. Cheng De nodded quickly. Okay, let's step aside and let Master Liu and Master Liu have a good discussion first. Village Chief Duan chuckled and tugged on Cheng's sleeve, and the two of them stepped outside. After seeing Village Chief Duan and others have already exited the hall, Liu Wai unabashedly picked up his chopsticks and happily started eating and drinking. Cheers. Lu Chen also drinks and eats heartily. After eating and drinking for half an hour, the two finally got up and bid farewell to village chief Duan. Before leaving, Li Wai received another red envelope with 5,000 yuan from the village chief. Let's go. Cheng Data, take me to your village first to see the terrain. Li Wai stood up, glanced at Cheng Data, and said, I'll give you a maximum of half an hour to look at the terrain. Time is precious, we can't spend any more time. After that's enough, half an hour is enough. Cheng Da's face showed a smile and he made a gesture of invitation towards Lu Chen and Li Wai. After saying let's go, get on the car. Li Wai quickly walked out of the villa and jumped on the motorcycle. Lu Chen hugged the waist of this beautiful woman tightly. Soon the two of them left Beiying village under the watchful gaze of village chief Duan and his wife. 20 minutes later, Liu Wai followed Cheng Da to the picturesque Bishui village. Here is our village, let me take you to the hillside to have a look. Cheng Da smiled and made a gesture of invitation towards Liu Wai. Let's first go to the Liu family ancestral grave site. It is said that in our village, the best burial is of the Liu family, also the grave of Lu Chen's grandfather, the silly man. Oh, there's something like this? Liu Wai asked curiously. Alright, then take me there. Let's go and take a look at Lu Shi's family ancestral grave. Cheng Da kept calling Lu Chen a fool without taking into account his feelings. In his eyes, it is obvious that Lu Chen is now possessed by the gods, so there is no need to respect him. Lu Chen laughed secretly. This bastard, now happily calling everyone idiot, will suffer later. After a moment, everyone arrived at a small hilltop. After seeing the ancestral tomb of the Lu family in front of them, Cheng De grinned proudly and pointed to a small tomb mound and explained, Do you see that slightly raised spot? On its left and right sides, there are beautiful Qinglong Mountain and Beihu Mountain. The looming dragon at the back is also very powerful. What's even more breathtaking is the front hill. Doesn't it look like an imperial decree? Liu Wai and Lu Chen looked ahead. The mountain in front of them was neat and beautiful, spreading out in a straight line. At first glance it really looked like an unfolded decree. Wow, beautiful. Liu Wai nodded pretentiously. Lu Chen secretly muttered. When did Cheng Dit understand Feng Shui to blurt out these professional terms? No. This guy is a big shot. Even if someone teaches him, he might not necessarily understand it. There is a problem here. Haha, of course it's beautiful. Cheng Det took over Liu Wai's words with a smile and said, It is said that the ancestral tomb of the Liu family is a Feng Shui treasure land designated by the imperial decree for civil officials. Oh, what is the official announcement from Wenguan? Liu Wai curiously asked. You can see from afar that the mountain ridge looks like an imperial decree. When the imperial decree arrives, what does it mean? It means that there are literati coming here to tell the local people that the top scholar has emerged in this place. The ancestral tomb of the Liu family happens to face the mountain ridge, indicating that the top scholar is from the Liu family, Cheng Dana said with a smile. Later on, did you become the top scholar or not? Liu Wai asked excitedly. Of course, Cheng De pointed directly at Lu Chen next to him and said with a smile. This idiot was the top scorer in the Long City entrance exam 5 years ago. Their family's ancestors were buried well, just in line with the imperial decree mountain in front. Of course, it is said that this also has to be complemented by checking the burial site. In any case, the Liu family is considered lucky. Liu Wai looked towards Lu Chen, his eyes filled with admiration. I didn't expect you to be the top scorer in the Dragon City's college entrance examination. Impressive. After glancing at Lu Chen, Cheng De sneered and said, Originally, this was a place where dragons were supposed to emerge. However, luck was borrowed away by someone. The Liu family also fell into decline. Lu Chen became a fool, and his father was even killed in an accident. Looking at the array, Liu Wai's eyes displayed a touch of sympathy. Lu Chen felt a sense of sadness in her heart, remaining silent. Dead good. If the Lu Jia family didn't die, how could I, Cheng Dana, become the richest man in the village? Fortunately, their family's Feng Shui was destroyed, taking away their good luck. Otherwise, the richest in the village would be the Lu Jia family. Haha. The top scholar turned into a fool, and his father also died. How satisfying. Cheng Dana couldn't hide his joy. With a loud pa, Liu Chen slapped him across the face. Cheng Da looked at Liu Chen in surprise and asked, Master Liu, why did you hit me? This is the ancestral tomb of the Liu family. We must respect the living as well as the dead. Liu Chen replied solemnly. After Liu Wei glanced at Cheng Dana with annoyance, he said, At least, this is the Feng Shui treasure land where the top scholars are produced. Such places have negative energy, even Master Liu must show respect. If I don't discipline you, then who will? After touching his burning cheeks, Cheng Da repeatedly nodded towards Liu Chen. Master Liu, I'm sorry, really sorry. Liu Chen put on a gloomy look and replied, You should go kowtow to the old master and say a few good words. Upon hearing this, Cheng Da's face turned pale with fear, and he staggered towards the cemetery ahead. He came to Liu Chen's ancestral grave and fell to his knees. After bowing 3 times, this person finally picked up his pants and hurried back. All right, I've already finished bowing. Who borrowed the Liu family's fortune? Liu Chen asked. It is said to be a talented person, but who exactly it is, I don't know either, Cheng said with a smile, scratching his head. I heard about this when I was playing mahjong with someone. I've heard it several times. I can't remember who specifically said it now. Oh, Master Liu, aren't you a great master? Can't you figure it out? Liu Chen was suddenly startled, nearly spilling the bowl. He hesitated for a moment, his face darkening as he shook his head and said, I can't figure it out. This is the land of the top scholar, surely there is divine protection here. Only a great and powerful person can make use of this opportunity. Even my little godly powers can't see through it. Haha. Master Liu is truly blessed by the gods. This place is really awesome. Although it has borrowed some luck, I heard there is still some residual energy. To be honest, I secretly invited a few Feng Shui masters to take a look. And they all said this place is good. They said even if luck has been borrowed, there is still some residual energy and there is always a chance for a turnaround. Cheng Da smiled and approached Liu Wei, trying to please him, saying, Master Liu, can you help me set up a layout to completely borrow the residual energy of the Liu family, so they will never have a chance to turn things around? Afterwards, Liu Wei glanced at Cheng Dana with a displeased look and said, You've taken all the good luck away. Are you not leaving any for the Liu family? Won't the Liu family become extinct? Anyway, Liu Chen is already a fool, it's better to let him die sooner. Cheng Da glanced at Liu Chen and laughed indifferently, saying, It would be even better if both he and his mother were dead, so as not to waste the country's food. Too hateful, Liu Chen couldn't bear it anymore, and was about to go over and slap the hell out of him. Pa! Liu Wei took the lead and landed a slap on the opponent's face. The Master Liu, how could you hit me? Cheng Da said displeasedly. You're underestimating me. Liu Wei angrily shouted at Cheng Da. This is the ancestral grave of the Liu family. You are too disrespectful. Even if you want to set up a formation, you shouldn't say it out loud. In such a heavy place, if you say you want to kill people in front of the dead, if it backfires, do you want to kill me? I'm sorry, I overlooked this point, Cheng Da apologized immediately. Afterwards, Liu Wei coldly said, Add 50,000. After hearing that, Cheng Da couldn't help but feel heartache. He gritted his teeth and said, Fine, even if it's expensive, but you must lend me all of it, and while you're at it, borrow all the good luck from everyone in the village and give it all to me. In response to the array, No problem. Yan Liu calmly said, Quickly gather the money. Once the money is ready, I will arrange it for you. After saying okay, Cheng Da turned around and walked away. After a long night of relaxation, he took out $50,000 from his bag and handed it to Liu Chen. Take it. Half of this money is for you. Liu Chen took out 300 yuan from the array and waved it in front of Liu Wei, saying, I'll just take 300, consider it as my payment. I don't want to use this ill-gotten money. Do not give up. Liu Wei took the money and turned towards the bushes in front, walking away. Hey, what do you want to do? Liu Chen asked. After Liu Wei twisted his head towards Liu Chen, he glared at him and said, Don't peek. After reading the array, Liu Chen smiled and shook his head, saying, Isn't it just a few words written on paper to attract wealth? You. Liu Wei was so angry that he picked up a piece of mud and threw it towards Liu Chen. Chapter 35. friends with a more traditional approach. Due to exerting too much force when the beauty waved her hand, she inadvertently pulled the collar of her chest, causing a button to burst open, revealing a patch of snowy white skin. Oh no, it burst open. Liu Wei quickly shielded his chest with both hands. After saying so fierce, Lu Chen wanted to add ferocious, but ended up choking on a sip of water. Stinky rogue, what's it to you whether my chest is good or not? It's not for you to see. Constructing a look of annoyance, Dong Wei glared at Lu Chen. Oh, this beauty is really interesting. I said it aggressively, but didn't say you have a good chest. Lu Chen laughed in response. Hemph. Oh, or not, I don't need your approval. I know what I'm doing. Liu Wei loosened his grip and proudly straightened his chest. Wow, nice figure. Lu Chen swallowed his saliva. Hemph, with such a bad figure, can it make your eyes look straight? Still refusing to admit it. Liu Wei glanced at him, then turned away like a proud peacock, striding quickly towards the bushes ahead. Lu Chen smiled and turned around. He unconsciously furrowed his eyebrows, soon spotting a faintly emerging fiery red comb in the darkness in the distance, followed by a pair of dark eyes spinning. That is a chicken head. Lu Chen curiously widened his eyes and looked down. Soon he saw a hair-raising scene. Beneath the rooster's head, there unexpectedly grows a section of a black, scaly snake body. Cockscomb snake. Lu Chen took a breath of air and couldn't help shouting softly. He carefully observed the chicken snake in front of him, quickly being attracted by the beautiful comb on its head. Wow, so beautiful. This thing, aside from the body not being that pretty, the comb is quite nice looking. I really want to touch it. Land Dust made a pinching motion in the air. He tried to move forward half a step, but the serpent heard the movement and quickly turned to the side, darting into the bushes. Though taking a look is not allowed. Lu Chen muttered with a smile, quickly chasing ahead. The rooster ran faster and faster, and in the blink of an eye, it disappeared without a trace. Lu Chen murmured softly, I haven't had enough of this yet, still thinking about touching it, but it's gone. As he spoke, he pushed aside the grass and took a peek forward, only to see a patch of white flowers among the grass. It seems like a girl is squatting with her skirt already halfway off. Liu Wei, holding up her skirt, stood up from the bushes and fiercely glared at Lu Chen, shouting, You dirty scoundrel, why are you so shameless? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Lu Chen quickly shook his head. Hmph, I already said you're not allowed to peek. Why did you still follow me? Liu Wei glared at Lu Chen and scolded, Are you even human anymore? Lu Chen smiled and explained to Liu Wei, Just now I saw a tantilla snake, it's true. That tantilla snake, it has a very beautiful crest. Red, really too beautiful. I really want to touch that beautiful big red crest. Liu Wei sneered and glanced at Lu Chen, saying, Luckily I have a pretty good temper. You even want to reach out and touch my cockcomb. Are you trying to provoke me? Do you also have a rooster crest? Lu Chen frowned. Liu Wei blushed with embarrassment, glared at him angrily, and scolded, I am not a chicken. A burst of the rooster's crow could be heard not far away, interrupting the silence. Upon hearing the sound of the rooster and snake, Lu Chen grabbed Liu Wei's hand and shouted, Let's go, I'll take you to see the rooster and snake. In this array. Where is it? Liu Wei is also filled with curiosity. After following the sound to find their target, Lu Chen laughed and quickly walked towards the direction where the rooster crowed. At this time, sporadic crowing of roosters could also be heard at the foot of the mountain. Could it be that roosters are running up the mountain? Listen, it seems like the rooster at the foot of the mountain is also calling along. Liu Wei asked curiously. Another clear crow of the rooster sounded in front. Lu Chen glanced ahead and quickly spotted a bright cockscomb in front. He couldn't help but excitedly exclaim, Did you see it? That's the cockscomb snake, with its beautiful large red crest. As he was talking, suddenly he saw a cock-headed snake rub against the ground and jump onto a large rock. I only saw that guy, who raised his head and shouted towards the sky. The crisp crowing of the rooster echoed through the skies. At the foot of the mountain, one after another, the sound of chickens crowing could be heard. He whispered, What a domineering rooster and snake. This is leading the way for the rooster crows in every corner for miles. Liu Wei couldn't help but mutter quietly. Lu Chen also stared curiously at the chicken snake with a large red crest. As he watched, an image of a wild ginseng with a head the size of a pen immediately appeared on his forehead. He carefully examined with his heavenly eyes and discovered that beneath the stone where the rooster snake stood, there was actually a large wild ginseng buried deep in the soil. "I'm going, there's wild ginseng in this place. It seems like this rooster snake is a spiritual beast," Lu Chen couldn't help but excitedly exclaimed. "Lu Chen, it seems like you have watched too many movies and read too many novels. How could a place like this possibly have wild ginseng and even spirit animals? The rare chicken crown snake is indeed uncommon, but it's not non-existent." Liu Wei looked at Lu Chen with a scornful expression. "Really, I feel like there might be a wild beast ahead." Lu Chen lightly pushed Liu Wei with his hand. "How about you try imitating a hen's call, see if you can lure the rooster snake away." "Regarding the array. Are you crazy? I'm not a chicken, why imitate a chicken?" Liu Wei impatiently rolled his eyes at Lu Chen and said, "All right, stop being surprised. The crested serpent eagle is rare in the secular world, but I have seen its specimens many times at auctions. Let's go. It's almost dawn. Go to your place and sleep." "Wait, there's no rush for you and me to go to sleep." Lu Chen laughed as he pushed Liu Wei away with his hand. "Hey, how dare you speak that way? Who wants to sleep with you?" Liu Wei angrily twisted Lu Chen's arm and shouted, "Lu Chen, I warn you, don't you dare have any ideas with me. When I said I'll go to your house to sleep, I didn't say I want to sleep with you." Ouch! Lu Chen couldn't help but let out a scream. With a hiss, the rooster suddenly springs forward and jumps straight to a spot just 2 meters away from Lu Chen and Liu Wei. The guy opened his mouth and spat out a black centipede over a foot long, rolling it towards Liu Wei's face. "Run!" Lu Chen grabbed the beautiful girl, then turned and ran forward as if flying. As the rooster crowed loudly, the snake arched its body and chased after it. Staring at the dark snake with its flickering tongue, shrinking and arching, like a pair of scissors in the hands of a gardener, pecking at its own skirt and thighs, Liu Wei was scared pale, with screams constantly echoing in her ears. "Wow, that guy seems to have bumped into my skirt. Oh my goodness, it seems like I've bumped into my thigh again. Ah, don't. Ah." Lu Chen suddenly turned his head to look and indeed saw a pitch-black poisonous snake approaching that American-looking woman's pleats, nearly about to reach the words "Fortune Arrival" stitched on them. He was extremely frightened as he grabbed onto the woman and wildly ran forward. Running, Lu Chen suddenly felt his feet slip and let out a scream. He and Miss Liu quickly rolled down a hill ahead of them. "Ah, quick, hold me tight." The two hugged tightly together, rolling like a ball for several loops before finally stopping in a grass ditch. "Oh my god, scared me to death." Liu Wei gasped. "Yeah, you scared me." Lu Chen also took a deep breath. And as he spoke, he suddenly felt a softness in his chest. Lowering his head to take a closer look, he was surprised to find that he had actually pinned down Miss Liu underneath him. Afterward, Liu Wei opened his eyes and quickly used his hands to support Lu Chen's body, saying, "Lu Chen, you bastard, you hurt me." "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Let me get up." Lu Chen supported the ground, preparing to stand up. "Don't move." Liu Wei, however, grabbed his sleeve. "After reading the array, what's wrong?" Lu Chen was slightly curious. "Hey Lu Chen, have you ever hugged a woman?" Liu Wei smiled and blinked at Lu Chen, while one hand reached towards his waist, seemingly about to take off his dress. Upon seeing the array, Lu Chen was startled. "Do not move, I am asking you a question." Liu Wei smiled and blinked at Lu Chen, saying, "Tell me the truth, have you ever thought about women?" Lu Chen glanced at the beautiful woman and noticed that the skirt around her waist was half off, revealing her stomach and causing him to feel a bit flustered. After Liu Wei said, "Don't do this, it's not convenient to do this kind of thing in the wilderness," Lu Chen was so taken aback by the beautiful woman's actions. It must be said, the temptation given by this beauty is truly irresistible. With a high figure and good looks being so close together, Lu Chen can even feel the other person's heartbeat. If he claims to have no thoughts, then that is obviously a lie. Lu Chen didn't have the mood for it. He thought that even if the rooster's crest and the snake came, he wouldn't even have time to pull up his pants. "Okay, I'll be fine soon. Hurry, You turn around first, I want to stand up. Liu Wai moved his body a little and flipped Lu Chen directly on the ground. Hello. What are you doing? Lu Chen was startled by the powerful waist movement of this beautiful woman. For a moment he was even more puzzled. First, she took off her skirt, and now she flipped herself over on the ground. Was this willow-like beauty trying to play tricks on him? He hesitated and shouted towards Liu Wai. Liu Wai, don't play too recklessly. I am a rather traditional man. Chapter 36 Ordinary Friends. In this passage, get out of here. Liu Wai scolded, pulling her hand out of her skirt. She took out a white handkerchief with red borders and shouted loudly, get lost. Auntie threw the handkerchief like a flying saucer, swiftly flying towards the front. In the darkness, Lu Chen saw that white object with a red tint, falling onto a bright red cockcomb, followed by a series of cackle 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 noises. It turns out that the chicken-crowned snake chased over. Liu Wai had long seen this scene. She intentionally used teasing language to stabilize Lu Chen's emotions in order to use a menstrual pad to subdue the rooster-headed snake. It's strange to say that after the rooster's head was covered by a sanitary napkin, the entire snake body immediately wilted and shook its head constantly, quickly burrowing into the bushes. I'm going, can this also work? Lu Chen cried and laughed helplessly. Of course, the sanitary napkin has the function of dispelling evil spirits. It can even destroy magic tools. After my sanitary napkin covered the rooster's comb snake, it would probably take about 10 minutes to find north. Liu Wai proudly introduced. All right, now that the snake has been subdued by the rooster, let's hurry up and go dig wild mountain ginseng. Lu Chen pulled Liu Wai and started walking back. Idiot! You must be crazy to think you can get rich. I told you, there is no way wild ginseng can grow in a place like this. Liu Wai shook his head repeatedly. In this sentence, Lu Chen remained silent and quickly continued on his way. Returning to the spot where the rooster's crest and snake had stood before, he found a sharp stone and began to dig into the earth with it, while holding the green vine. Idiot, don't waste your expressions, there's no wild ginseng in this place. Liu Wai sneered at Lu Chen with a scornful look, saying, when it comes to medicinal herbs, I know more than you do. While talking, suddenly Lu Chen grabbed a vine and pulled it forcefully upward, with a poochie sound, pulling out a white wild ginseng. Oh my! There really is wild ginseng. Liu Wai exclaimed in shock, his eyes wide open. And it's so thick. This is just too unbelievable. After saying these words, Lu Chen laughed and shook off the dirt on top. After taking the wild ginseng from the hill, Liu Wai looked at it and couldn't help but admire, saying, this thing, if you find a seller online, you might be able to sell it for quite a bit of money, at least 30,000 or more. Could it be true that a wild mountain ginseng can be sold for 300,000? Lu Chen's eyes widened in shock. Ha! You should take a look at what year this wild ginseng is from. It's so big and the roots are so strong. I estimate it's at least 30 years old. This thing is worth at least 300,000. Let me handle this, I'll sell it for you. Liu Wai replied with a smile to Lu Chen. Let's forget it. We just met for the first time, it may not be appropriate to directly entrust you with selling it. Lu Chen laughed and replied, you can help me find a seller. If it's sold, I'll give you 10% commission. Liu Wai handed the mountain ginseng in his hand to Lu Chen. Take it, I'll help you inquire. Oh, you silly boy, you're quite interesting. I do something small for you and you don't want it, but you're afraid I'll take your mountain ginseng and run away. No. This ginseng mountain is entrusted to you to help me keep. Lu Chen smiled and pushed the ginseng mountain into Liu Wai's hand. You don't even have a sample, how can you have someone inspect the goods? Do you trust me? Liu Wai is somewhat flattered. Lu Chen smiled and nodded at Liu Wai, saying, let's go home and sleep. You are willing to share half of the 100,000 yuan with me. You are certainly not a stingy person. I trust you won't cheat me. The two people came down the mountain. When Liu Wai saw Lu Chen's house, which was made of mud and stones, he couldn't help but stare in disbelief. Oh my! Is this how your house looks like? In a place like this, a top scholar is actually born. This is too rundown. Mountains do not have to be tall, As long as there are immortals, they are renowned. People do not have to be impoverished. As long as they have ambition and talent, they will succeed. Lu Chen calmly smiled and gently pushed open the door to the wooden house. Who is it? Mother Ling Xiumen's voice rang out in the house. Mom, it's me, Lu Chen replied. Upon seeing Lu Chen standing next to a young woman who was fair-skinned and slender, Ling Xiumen was suddenly shocked. Chen'er, who is this girl? Mum, this is my friend. Lu Chen introduced with a smile. Her name is Liu Wei. Liu Wei smiled and took out an iron box from his bag, then handed it to Lu Mu. Aunt, since it's your first time coming to your house and I didn't prepare anything, fortunately I have a box of donkey hide gelatin with me. Here, please take it. Girl, this thing probably costs over 1,000 yuan per kilogram. I can't afford it. Ling Xiumen quickly declined. It's okay, I still have plenty at home, Liu Wei said with a relaxed smile as he stuffed the metal box into Lu Chen's mother's hand. Mom, you should just accept it. Lu Chen smiled and patted his mother's hand, indicating for her to accept it. Okay. Ling Xiumen could only accept it and then turned his head towards Liu Wei beside him and shouted, Come on, girl, you sit in the hall, I'll go in to make breakfast. Aunt, there's no need, I came here to sleep. Liu Wei smiled and replied to Ling Xiumen, I stayed up late last night, and I'm really tired. Let Lu Chen and me rest first. Ling Xiumen thought that the two had already gotten along well, and couldn't help but worry. She hesitated for a moment, but eventually she took Liu Wei's hand and walked towards the corner. Aunt, what's wrong? Liu Wei was puzzled. Girl, it's rare that you don't look down on our family. Ling Xiumen's face displayed a hint of bitterness as she shook her head at Liu Wei and said, But I still have to be honest with you, Lu Chen, he is a fool, you have to think it over clearly. Aunt, I have a clear idea. Liu Wei smiled and winked at her, saying, It's okay, I don't care about these things. Lu Chen has already talked to me about it. However, Ling Xiumen wants to say it again. Mother, you go to sleep. It's not completely bright outside yet. Lu Chen urged his mother, I can handle my own affairs. Go to sleep. After Ling Xiumen saw his son push himself into the room, thinking that his son wanted to have some alone time with a partner, he turned and went into the room himself to sleep for a while, telling everyone to go to bed early as well. Hey, Lu Chen, which room am I sleeping in tonight? Liu Wei glanced into the room and found only 2 rooms, feeling a bit embarrassed. Exactly. Lu Chen scratched his head. How about you sleep with my mom, and I'll ask my mom to open the door. Liu Wei grabbed Lu Chen's hand and said, I don't know the old man well. So how about tonight, I just sleep with you instead? Is this suitable? Lu Chen laughed awkwardly. Liu Wei glanced at Lu Chen in annoyance and smugly said, I have my period, so there's no way you can do anything. Let's go, stop dilly-dallying, I'm so tired. All right. Lu Chen had no choice but to agree. That night, the 2 of them slept together in one bed, with one person sleeping at one end, until the sun shone on their backs, and Lu Chen finally woke up. He feels bloated on the upper thigh, as if it's been pulled on by something. When Lu Chen looked down, he couldn't help but be startled, only to see Liu Wei reaching out and grabbing his trousers. Liu Wei, what are you doing? After opening his eyes, Liu Wei saw that his hand was grabbing Lu Chen's pants. He blushed with embarrassment and quickly shook his head to explain, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. I was just dreaming that we were picking herbs together, and suddenly I slipped and almost fell off the cliff. I was scared, so I desperately grabbed onto a sturdy tree branch. When saying these words, Beauty Liu also grabbed a handful. After saying this, Lu Chen grabbed the hand of the beauty and got up immediately, saying, Let's go, it's time to get up. Lu Chen's mother has already cooked breakfast, waiting quietly for the 2 of them to wake up. The elderly person sits at the table, occasionally gently stroking their own waist. Mom, is your kidney hurting again? Lu Chen walked over with concern and placed his hand on his mother's lower back. Let me give you a massage. Alas, Mom's illness is beyond cure. Stop pushing it. The doctor has already said that I have missed the golden period for kidney transplant, I'm afraid. Ling Xiumen's tears couldn't stop flowing down. Mom, it's okay. I'll help you push a bit, And then I'll give you a few doses of medicine to drink later. You'll feel better. Lu Chen comforted with a smile. While speaking, he used his skilled hands to help his mother with a massage. Strange, why is your palm so warm? Lin Xiumin exclaimed. Lu Chen massaged with care, saying, just right with heat. Lin Xiumin's pain gradually disappeared. She looked at her son in disbelief and said, Son, where did you learn this skill? My kidney disease felt much better after you gave me a massage. In his dream, I learned. Lu Chen casually responded. Upon hearing the words learn in a dream, Lin Xiumin was first surprised, then smiled and nodded, saying, Okay. Learning in a dream is fine too. Mom, in the future, I will come back every day to help push you. Next time, I will bring back some medicine for you, boil and eat. You will be better. Lu Chen smiled and comforted his mother. Mom, don't think too much, you will be better soon. Lin Xiumin suddenly grabbed Lu Chen's hand and placed it on Liu Y's back, smiling as she replied. When you two go and get your marriage certificate, even if I die, Mom will rest assured. Mom? What are you saying? Lu Chen was startled. After Liu Y also felt helpless, she quickly withdrew her hand, smiling as she explained to Lin Xiumin. Aunt, Lu Chen and I are just regular friends, not as you imagine. Chapter 37 The Fool Goes Crazy. Lin Xiumin was a little confused by Xie Yang A. Liu Y couldn't help feeling a bit embarrassed. At this moment, they received a call. Immediately Liu Y picked up the phone. After chatting for a few minutes, she turned her head towards Lu Chen and gestured, Hurry, 5 minutes to have breakfast, prepare for the job. It's from Chengda. Ah. Lin Xiumin was startled, thinking that Dana Cheng was coming to trouble his family, so he couldn't help shouting, Son, have you offended anyone in the Cheng family? Don't offend anyone in the Cheng family. They are untouchable. Mom, it's okay. Lu Chen wanted to explain. Liu Y's mouth curved into a smile. He nodded towards Lin Xiumin and said, Auntie, you can rest assured. Cheng De wouldn't dare come to bother you. He only knows how to flatter and please your Lu family. Lin Xiumin smiled bitterly and shook her head, saying, In these years, if their family doesn't bully our Lu family, that's already good enough. They even try to suck up to us. Girl, you really don't understand. Upon hearing this, Lin Xiumin couldn't help but burst into tears. My son works hard every month to mine coal, and I have to hand over 500 to Cheng Da to cover for this jerk. Mom, why didn't I know? Can't believe it. Lu Chen and Liu Y both stared wide-eyed at the same time. Alas, it's true, Lin Xiumin sighed and gently brushed Lu Chen's cheek with his hand. Son, you shouldn't go looking for trouble with the Cheng family over this. After all, it was Cheng De who introduced us to this job. After hearing his mother's words, Liu Chen replied, Mom, the mine still needs more people. This job doesn't even require an introduction. From now on, we don't have to pay for this money. Moreover, I will have to ask them to return it. Darn it, today I will make him spit it out. Liu Y clenched his fists in frustration. Regarding this array, you guys absolutely don't go cause trouble. Lin Xiumin looked at Lu Chen with a pained expression and advised, Son, you're different from others. You're a fool, this mine doesn't want you anymore. Where can you go find a job? Instructed by the mother, Lu Chen advised, Mom, but I work in the mine. It's not for Cheng Dina to decide. Besides, whether to keep or get rid of the mine, it's not up to Cheng Dina to say. It's the boss Mei Ping who has the final say. Lu Chen's mother replied, You shouldn't bother with this matter. I will go talk to Cheng Dina about it. Lin Xiumin quickly grabbed Lu Chen's arm as she exclaimed, Absolutely no way. Aunt, we won't go to bother Cheng Dana. Liu Y blinked at Lu Chen and smiled and comforted Lin Xiumin. We are going to discuss things with him. Let's see if we can reduce them in the future. After all, money is hard to earn now. Regarding this array, also it's okay, but you guys must speak nicely. Make sure not to anger others. Lin Xiumin leaned closer to Liu Y and whispered, My son is a fool, in the future he may have to rely on you more. Trust me, aunt. Lu Chen's matter is my matter. Liu Y put down the bowl, smiled and blinked at Lu Chen beside him, saying, Let's go to the Cheng family now. Go. The two people went out of the Ado house together. Remember, don't make the situation worse. You should compromise when necessary. Lin Xiaomin walked to the door, but still didn't forget to remind once again. After Auntie found out, Lin Wai responded with a grunt, then began cursing softly with gritted teeth. Cheng Da. This bastard actually wants to cheat even a fool's hard-earned money. Today, you and I are not finished. Damn it. Lu Chen clenched his fist tightly, feeling so angry that he wished he could just charge up and beat someone up right now. Two people were walking when suddenly they heard the sound of someone whistling by their ears. Ah, ah. The troublemaker Gao Mao from the village chuckled and whistled towards Liu Wai. Liu Wai's mood is not good from the beginning. She turned around and immediately cursed. What are you talking about? The beautiful woman, I am warning you. Gao Mao laughed and pointed at Lu Chen, saying, This guy is a fool, you need to be careful. Humph, what's wrong with being foolish? Liu Wai sneered and glanced at Gao Mao, intentionally holding onto Lu Chen's arm, saying, Can a fool have a girlfriend? Gao Mao was startled by Liu Wai's sudden intimate gesture. He pointed his finger at Liu Chen and reminded Liu Wai, Beauty. This guy is not very smart. You're the one with a bad brain. Not only is your brain not good, your eyes are also not good. Didn't you see me holding onto Lu Chen's arm? Liu Wai disdainfully glanced at Gao Mao, then deliberately moved closer to Lu Chen and said with a smile, We get along well. Even if he's a fool, I'm willing to be friends with him. Can you control that? After being criticized by Liu Wai, Gao Mao was left speechless. Let's go, take me to Cheng Dana's house. Today I want to show off in front of the villagers. Liu Wai turned his head and smiled playfully at Lu Chen. After hearing this array, Miss Liu, which play are you singing again? Lu Chen was confused. It seems that the village chief is not a good person. This leak can be cut. Lu Chen smiled and nodded, then jumped off the car. As soon as the two got off the car, a loud howl of a wolf-like beast could be heard coming from the door. The owner of the villa is a bald middle-aged man who is also the village chief. He said, You beast, keep calling my name and I'll kill you, chop you up, and drink your stew. When the village head picked up a stick and held it towards the corner, the chained wolf dog howled. As soon as he turned around, he opened the iron gate. Upon seeing Liu Wai carrying Lu Chen rushing over, village chief Duan quickly greeted him with a respectful face. Haha, Master Liu, you finally arrived. I have been waiting for you here. Chief Duan, have you prepared the things I instructed? Liu Wai asked with a dark expression. After preparing, we're all ready, just waiting for Master Liu to come and start the ceremony. Mayor Duan smiled and nodded eagerly. Behind Liu Wai, Lu Chen glanced at the young man and couldn't help but be surprised. Curious, he couldn't resist asking, Master Liu, who is this young man? Don't underestimate him. I spent a lot of money to bring him here. Liu Wai smiled and approached Mayor Duan, whispering quietly, He doesn't talk much, but he can control the situation. On hearing this, village chief Duan looked at Lu Chen with curiosity in his eyes. Hey, the master has arrived. In the yard, another young and seductive young woman appeared. It looks like around 30. The young woman walked over, hooked her arm around Mayor Duan's arm, and coquettishly said, Honey, you have to invite a skilled expert or else our family's restaurant might be completely taken over by the restaurants opened by those country bumpkins across the street. The village chief smiled and patted the woman's back reassuringly, saying, Don't worry, don't worry. The person I invited is a master. Then why did we still invite a young man? This person is dressed casually. Why does he look a bit like a fool? The young woman pointed her finger at Lu Chen, disappointment passing through her eyes. The village chief's face also looked a little embarrassed, smiling as he turned to Liu Wai beside him and asked, Master Liu, what can this fool do? Lu Chen also felt a bit puzzled, wondering why Liu Wai had to pretend to be foolish. Do not be foolish, this is called great wisdom and apparent foolishness. Liu Wai smiled calmly and nodded, saying, You can rest assured. I have brought experts. The village chief nodded repeatedly, then turned to the woman beside him and instructed, Wife, go make some good tea. Humph, what good hospitality does a fool have? The young woman does not approve of Lu Chen. She pouted her lips, then immediately smiled and reminded Liu Wai, Master Liu, My husband has entrusted you with this matter. You must only succeed, not fail. Please make sure to help me keep a good eye on it. Regarding this array, don't worry, I am Master Mo's disciple, naturally I won't make a mistake. Liu Wei confidently puffed up his chest and explained to village chief Duan with a smile. My partner is not foolish, don't misunderstand. Upon hearing the array, the young woman's face was filled with shock as she widened her eyes and exclaimed, "Are you talking about that Master Mo who can use sorcery to kill people? It is said that he can also borrow one's good fortune using divination. I've heard that Master Mo can even cast a spell to turn people into idiots. There have been successful cases of him in our county town, and he even helped a certain boss borrow a heaven-filled wealth." Lu Chen's heart sank, thinking to himself, could it be that I have also been hexed by someone and suffered a calamity, becoming a fool? Good job. Liu Wei clapped with a smile. After the array, what's wrong? What's wrong? Suddenly a man's angry shout was heard from the front, then a small skinny man ran over. The thin and small man reached out and hugged Mrs. Jiang, shouting loudly, "Who get my wife?" It was Aunt Jiang's husband, and the monkey arrived. Fool, fool, Lu fool hit me. Aunt Jiang pointed at Lu Chen with her hand and shouted, "Husband, you must avenge me, hit him hard until he dies." After hearing those words, Lu Chen rolled up his sleeves and charged towards the monkey. "You fool, don't provoke me or you'll regret it. Today I'll make you pay for your arrogance." Lu Chen raised his light and delivered a kick straight to the opponent's stomach. Bang! After being kicked hard, the monkey staggered back 3 steps and then fell to the ground. The crowd looked at each other in astonishment. No one dared to believe that Lu Chen, who was usually honest and straightforward, even dared to bully women and children. Today he actually dared to publicly assault someone. And it was a brutal attack on a married couple. Ouch! The monkey cried out in pain, then quickly got up and shouted to the crowd at the scene, "Help me beat up this fool. How come you're all afraid of even a fool?" After exchanging glances with the old bachelor Jiang Tigan, Gao Mao still didn't dare to approach him. "Go, bring that idiot's mother here." Mr. Lin glared angrily at Lu Chen and sternly shouted, "This is outrageous, even daring to hit a fool. Is there no sense of security left in this village?" "Exactly, husband, hurry up. Go and call village chief Chengda here, ask him to come and give his opinion." Aunt Zhang, as if energized, touched her swollen face and pushed the hairy monkey away with her hand. Chapter 38. Open the ladle. At this moment, a large number of villagers have gathered on the road, whispering to each other. "I can't believe Lu Chen, this fool, actually dared to hit someone today. Yes, he used to be quite honest. What's wrong with him today? I heard that he brought a woman back last night, they say she is a prostitute." Aunt Jiang said a few words to that woman, and then Lu Chen started to physically assault her. "I can't believe a fool also knows how to protect his wife. The daughter-in-law of Mao is the woman who is selling." The crowd discusses with each person adding their own opinion. In response to the array, "You all shut up." Liu Wei angrily shouted at the crowd, pointing his finger at the people present and saying, "Last night, I just stayed overnight at Lu Chen's house. It wasn't as dirty as you imagine. And by the way, I am not for sale, cleaner than any woman here." After these words were spoken, immediately they elicited a round of laughter from the audience. "I go, even a foolish woman deserves to talk cleanly." I am dying laughing. Haha! This woman thinks too highly of herself. She doesn't know she's dealing with a fool. Just as everyone was laughing, Brother Mao Monkey's brother, Mao Dabi, came over. "What happened? What's going on? Sister-in-law, brother, what's wrong with you? Were you beaten by someone?" Mao roared loudly, and the crowd immediately quieted down. This guy looks completely different from his younger brother, like a hairy monkey. His face is full of muscles. He is tall and imposing with a protruding belly. He is about 1.85 meters tall and probably weighs over 200 kilograms. In the village, speaking also has a bit of influence, mainly due to being tall and able to dominate the atmosphere. "Younger brother, this fool is bullying your sister-in-law. Little brother, you must help us settle this grudge. Lu Chen not only hit me, but also hit your brother, Monkey Mao." "Ah? Is there still no law?" Mao Dazu became furious, pointing his finger at Lu Chen and shouting, "Lu idiot, you're finished, you're completely finished." As soon as these words were spoken, someone immediately started shouting on the scene. Fool, you're dead. Idiot, you should kneel down and beg for mercy. Fool, you're dead. The eyes of the crowd all fell on Lu Chen's face, looking at him as if he were a condemned prisoner about to be judged. Mao clenched his fists tightly and walked angrily towards Lu Chen, cursing, Idiot, go to hell. Stop. Don't bully him. Liu Wei stood up and stood in front of Lu Chen. Ha! You think I'm afraid to hit a woman? Mao Dadu sneered coldly. Let me do it. Lu Chen used his hand to push away Liu Wei and took a step forward, looking for death. Mao's big belly raised his fist and was ready to smash it on Lu Chen's face. Don't hit him, please stop hitting him. Lu Chen's mother rushed towards the crowd, loudly pleading to the people, please, don't hit my son, he is a fool. Humph, you also know that your son is a fool. A fool who is not honest, still dares to cause trouble. Mao Dazu sneered and pointed at his own shoe towards Ling Xiumin, saying, Old lady, come over and kowtow to me. Mom, don't go. Lu Chen reached out to stop his mother. Son, you have gotten yourself into big trouble. Mao Dazu, he's from the Xingang. Ling Xiumin pushed Lu Chen aside with her hand, looking worried as she said, Son, otherwise, I'll go beg him to see if he can let you off the hook by giving him the 5 chickens from our home. Let him spare you. The old woman said, Listen carefully, you not only have to catch 5 chickens and give them to me as compensation, but also have to kneel down and apologize. Mao Dabu proudly pointed to the ground with his hand and shouted, Kneel down. Aunt Jiang laughed triumphantly and said, Xingang is someone who dares to wield a knife and attack people ruthlessly. Be careful or my little brother Xingang might end up killing your foolish son Lu. Uncle Lin, kneel down. Otherwise, your son will be beaten to death, haha. The onlooker villagers all started persuading one by one. Old lady Lin, please kneel down. Old lady, your son caused trouble, hurry up and kneel down to apologize. Old lady, please kneel down. Listening to the mockery of the Mao's big belly family and the villagers' persuasions, Lu Chen clenched his fists, feeling his blood pressure skyrocket. After saying, Okay, I surrender. I surrender. Ling Xiumin went thump and directly knelt down. Mom, hurry up. Lu Chen quickly reached out and helped his mother up, then immediately gestured towards Liu Wei. Please watch over my mom for me. After settling his mother down, he publicly beat up Mao Dadu. Ling Xiumin, with a flattering expression, nodded towards Aunt Jiang and others and squeezed out a smile. Mao Dudu, Aunt Jiang, Mao Monkey, I already knelt down. I'll go back and catch some chickens for you. Let's forget about this matter. Give up? It's not that easy. What you just knelt down doesn't count. Mao Dazu coldly chuckled, spat on the ground, and proudly said, Old lady, if you lick my shoes clean, then we'll call it even. After reading the sentence, Aunt Jiang laughed triumphantly and said, Haha, old lady, go ahead and lick it. After licking quickly, the hairy monkey also laughed. Help me support. Lu Chen gently pushed his mother towards Liu Wei, then he bent down and picked up a piece of brick from the ground. Mao Dadu was startled by the words. Fool, what are you trying to do? The onlookers at the scene stared wide-eyed one by one. Did I go? Did Lu have some kind of medicine today? Is this idiot really going to use a brick to hit someone? It's impossible, this fool is usually very honest. Aunt Jiang sneered and threatened Lu Chen. Lu fool, if you hit someone, you will go to jail. Uncle Jiang hesitated and did not dare to hit you. Son, please don't do anything foolish. Our family is already very poor. If you get in trouble again, we won't even be able to afford food. Lin Xiumin cried out. Haha, idiot, come on, hit me. If you hit me, even selling all the cows in your house wouldn't be enough to compensate. Mao Dazu grinned smugly, lowered his head, pointed to his own head with his finger, and taunted, Come on, hit me here. Okay, this is what you asked for. Lu Chen held the brick tightly, rushed over quickly, and shouted, Open the ladle. Upon hearing it ouch, Mao raised his hand to touch his head, only to feel blood gushing out. Mao's stomachache made him squat down, feeling dizzy for a moment. This fool really messed it up. Little brother, what's wrong? The little monkey hurriedly ran over to support the big belly monkey. The scene immediately exploded into chaos. I went. Lu foolishly hit Mao Daju in the belly. The boy was tricked by someone. I can't believe Lu Chen is so fierce. This fool is not honest. The crowd was discussing eagerly when they looked towards Lu Chen again. There was already a hint of fear in their eyes. Sun Yu, how could you actually hit someone? Ling Xiumin was scared, her legs trembling, and started crying. What should we do? It seems like we really have to sell the cow at home. Li Wai saw Lu Mu looking scared. He quickly smiled and comforted her. It was he who deserved to be hit. Lu Chen just helped. As Mao Dadu stood up with a big belly, he shouted at Lu Chen. Lu Chen, you're done for. This is not something a cow can handle. An Jiang pushed Mao Monkey and said, go, first call the village chief over to mediate. If it doesn't work out, then call the police. Okay, I'm going now. The hairy monkey gnashed its teeth and pointed at Lu Chen threateningly with its hand. Lu Chen, you're dead. If your family doesn't pay 5 or 8,000 today, this matter isn't over. Ah! You sold everything in our house, and it's not even worth 50,000 yuan. Lin Xiumin cried, sitting on the ground in despair. Aunt, don't be sad. Here is $100,000. Liu Wei smiled and took out a plastic bag of money from his bag, handing it to Ling Xiumin. Take it, even if we really have to pay, I can afford it. Let's just stand up for ourselves. Next time someone dares to mess with us, we'll fight back. I have money to spare. As soon as these words were spoken, the scene erupted into chaos. Oh my, what luck did Lu, the fool, have? That he managed to hook up with a rich woman. This woman is too extravagant. She just spent 100,000. Is this woman for sale? Who would sell it reluctantly just for a mere 100,000? How many customers would one have to serve then? The curious eyes of the crowd landed on Liu Wei. After seeing Liu Wei make a move by handing out $10,000, Mao Dadu becomes slightly worried about the other party's strength. Hurriedly, he shouts to Mao Daozi, who hasn't walked too far yet, bro, come back quickly. Let's observe before doing anything. Good, let's not go for now. The little monkey was also startled by the scene in front of him, muttering to himself. How is this woman so rich? Yes, how come she's so rich? Aunt Jiang also showed a skeptical expression about life. Liu Wei coldly glanced at Jiang Shen and said, if you're so capable, why don't you try selling one yourself? See if you can turn into a wealthy woman. I bet even selling for $50 would be a struggle for you. As soon as these words were spoken, the crowd burst into laughter at the scene. After turning 50, 30 should be achievable. 30 is a bit of a stretch. Haha. 30, I can consider it. A few bold men in the village couldn't resist cracking jokes for a moment, their mouths filled with laughter. Just now, the hit Mao Dadu could only pretend not to have heard anything. The man angry ginger uncle, she bit her teeth to push the monkey. Monkey, are you still a man? Other people scold me as a chicken, why aren't you angry at all? Wife, you're not really selling anything, what are you afraid of? A righteous person has no fear of crooked shadow. The monkey comforted his wife with these words. Aunt Jiang was so furious that she waved her fists and started pounding on the hairy monkey's body. Go die, you useless turtle man. You can't even protect your wife when others bully her, you can only act like a coward. After pointing to Liu Wei, who was standing next to Lu Chen, Mao Monkey shouted, she's just standing here peacefully, if you have the ability, go ahead and hit her. You've had enough, it's not like I curse you out, whoever cursed you, go find them. After Jiang Pi held his anger, his face turned red, clenched his fists, and then rushed towards Liu Wei. Chapter 39. The Formidable Woman. What do you want? Liu Wei coldly exclaimed, his gaze as sharp as a cold sword, staring at Mrs. Jiang. Aunt Jiang was stunned by Liu Wei's sharp gaze, and awkwardly squeezed out a smile, saying, I just wanted to say, I'm actually not selling. Really, I've only been with my husband. After that, Liu Wei coldly stared at Aunt Jiang and shouted, why do you care? Get lost. Oh my goodness, why are you so fierce? Han Jiang was startled and quickly ran to her husband's side. The crowd laughed heartily. I can't believe it, Lu Chen found a woman who is so strong. Yes, even the fierce Aunt Jiang was subdued by her. Oh, what good luck from this fool. He found such a good woman. She's rich and really able to handle things, impressive. It seems that in the future, no one dares to bully crazy Lu in the village anymore. Don't call Lu Chen a fool, his woman is not easy to mess with. The crowd looks towards Liu Wai, evidently showing more respect than before. After scanning the crowd arrogantly, Liu Wai shouted, "Listen up, whoever dares to bully Lu Chen in the village from now on, I will directly use money to deal with them." The girl said, "I cannot accept this money." Lin Xiumin nervously handed the bag of money to Liu Wai and quietly advised, "You two will need this money in the future." She wants to say that in the future getting married, having children, and using money will be needed in many places. Liu Wai quickly interrupted with a smile and said, "It's okay, I have plenty of money. This 100,000 yuan is specifically for hitting people and then compensating them." Lu Chen knew that his mother must have misunderstood, so he took the $100,000 from his mother's hand and then handed it to Liu Wai with a smile. "Even if we have money, we shouldn't spend it so recklessly. Listen carefully, if Madadu gets beaten by me, he will just have to accept it. I won't compensate him a single penny. We will stand firm against him, spend money to find connections, hire the best lawyer, and even if we have to go to court, we will exhaust him. In any case, we will not give him a single cent. Don't forget, he was the one who made me hit someone." "Yes, you are right." Liu Wai smiled and nodded, saying, "We won't compensate for this money. Since he said you're a fool, and even asked you to fight, then fighting would be in vain." Upon hearing this, Mao's face showed a hint of bitterness. He never dreamed that Lu Chen would dare to use a brick to hit him. Even if he did hit him, he would let it go. Moreover, there was also a rich young woman by his side who could easily throw out $10,000. In his heart, he already harbored some fear towards the woman in front of him. Despite the fear, when faced with so many people, he had to give an explanation for his head being hit and bleeding. Otherwise, how could he continue to stand in the village in the future? Thinking of this, Mao Dedushan stood up, gritted his teeth and pointed at Lu Chen, shouting, "Lu Chen, I don't care what the woman you found does or how capable you are. Today, you hit someone, so you must pay for it. Yes, this matter must be explained." Aunt Jiang also straightened her chest and turned to the side, shouting at the monkey, "Monkey, go call the village chief. Let's first listen to what Chengda has to say. If we can't resolve it, we will call the police to handle it." "Yes, I will go find the village head to reason," Mahuzi coldly shouted, then turned and walked forward. Exactly at this time, Chengde was carrying a suitcase and walking towards this way. "Wow! The village chief has arrived." The little monkey was extremely excited, lifting his face towards Cheng Daxia and shouting loudly, village chief, come over quickly." "What's the matter?" Cheng De raised his face and glanced ahead, casually responding. He quickened his pace and walked forward, soon seeing Liu Wai. Upon seeing the array, Master Cheng De scanned the surroundings and noticed that the atmosphere was somewhat off. He quickly walked over to Liu Wai and asked with concern, "Master Liu, what's going on here?" In response to this array, "In your village, people say that I am the one who's selling." Liu Wai lifted his face, looking arrogantly at Cheng Da, holding a glance, coldly saying, "Village Chief Cheng, are these the villagers you're leading? Is this the quality you have? Let me investigate this matter first." Cheng Da smiled ingratiatingly and replied. He never dreamed that, the first time he hired someone to do something, there would be someone speaking ill of Master Liu. This matter definitely cannot be taken lightly, it must be handled seriously. "Village chief, do you know each other?" The monkey was surprised, staring wide-eyed. "Regarding the array. Not nonsense, Master Liu is my honored guest. I came specifically to see her, how could I not know her?" Cheng De replied impatiently, then remembered that monkey had called him earlier and curiously asked, "By the way, what did you ask me to do just now?" "It's like this. Lu Chen, this fool hit my wife, and even hit my younger brother," the monkey hesitantly responded. "It was me who asked him to do it," Liu Wai answered ahead of others. "Some people deserve to be punished," Lu Chen also responded with a hum. As soon as he saw their expressions, Cheng Daijian immediately guessed the plot. He turned his head and angrily shouted at Mao Monkey, "Well, did your wife scold Master Liu for selling? And did your younger brother talk bad things too?" Mao Monkey awkwardly replied, "Bad words were said, but you shouldn't hit people either." Yes, this kid really cracked my head open. Mao Dadu, holding his just stopped bleeding head in his hands, arrived next to Cheng Da. The village chief said, "Although I scolded this woman, she also scolded me." Aunt Jiang also chimed in. "Old fool Lu used a brick to hit my nephew and even slapped me. We deserve some explanation, right?" After hearing that, Cheng Da scratched his head in embarrassment, looking perplexed. This really stumped him. At the moment, I still request Master Liu and Master Lu to help me borrow luck. This definitely cannot be asked for an explanation from them. After careful consideration, Cheng Da smiled and bowed to Mao Dadu and Aunt Jiang, saying, "This is how it will be. On behalf of Master Liu and Master Lu, I apologize to both of you." "What, Master Lu?" Qian Dadu looked shocked, staring at him with wide eyes, and said, "When did Lu become a master?" "Yes, he is clearly a fool." Aunt Jiang angrily shouted at Cheng Dana. "Cheng Dana, you have not been wronged in my house before, so why stoop so low as to cater to a fool?" After that, Cheng Dana leaned towards Qian Dadu's ear and whispered softly, "Lu Chen has been possessed by a god. The current him is not the foolish Chen, but a great god. Gods have special powers and can see many things." After hesitating for a moment, Qian Dadu couldn't help but spit on the ground and said, "So it turns out this idiot dared to hit me. It's because he's possessed. If that's the case, then the one who hit me is not an idiot." His originally suppressed emotions suddenly became much more comfortable. As long as he isn't being stupidly provoked, he considers that obstacle on his face is overcome. "Bro, this matter, you see it as a favor to me, it's almost settled." Cheng Da smiled pleasingly and comforted Qian Dadu. "Later, I'll give you 2 bottles of good wine. Today this matter will be considered resolved. Also, don't make a big deal out of this matter." "Okay, since the village chief has spoken, then it's all right. Let's turn the page on this matter. I'll just pretend like it never happened." Mao Dadu showed a very magnanimous gesture, smiling and nodding. "Is that it?" Aunt Jiang asked suspiciously, widening her eyes. "Sister-in-law, forget it." Qian Dadu leaned towards her ear and whispered a few words. After being possessed by a ghost, Aunt Jiang shrank back in fear and nodded, saying, "Let's forget about it. Don't provoke him. It seems like we'll have to keep our distance from this fool in the future." She turned around and then took hold of the hairy monkey's arm, gently pushing it, and said, "Let's go." "Wife? What's wrong? What did my brother say to you?" the puzzled Mao monkey asked. Aunt Jiang dragged the monkey fur and went home. "Sorry, I have to leave now." Qian Dadu smiled and waved goodbye to Lu Chen and Liu Wei, and turned and walked away. The onlookers witnessed this scene, one by one revealing expressions of doubt about life. "Oh my, what's going on? Mao Dadu is usually so impressive. Did we get beaten for nothing today by fools?" Yes, what good luck did this fool have today? Not only did a beautiful and wealthy woman come, but he even won a large sum of money. The village chief even spoke up for him. What did this fool do to make even the village chief afraid of him? The crowd is discussing eagerly. "All right, nothing to worry about. Let's all go our separate ways." Cheng Da smiled and waved goodbye to everyone. The villagers scattered, but did not go far. "Master Liu, here is the 200,000 cash I prepared for you." Cheng respectfully handed over the 200,000 cash to Master Liu. After taking a quick look, Liu Wei motioned for Cheng Da to open the box. After saying all right, Cheng Da placed the box on the ground and lightly pressed it. With a gentle click sound, the box bounced up, revealing bundles of red banknotes inside. Liu Wei squatted down for a moment, then immediately took out half of the items and handed them to Lu Chen beside him, saying, "Here, these are for you." Lu Chen wants to decline this array. This is not good. Holding it otherwise, I will get angry. Liu Wei's face turned serious. After receiving the array, Lu Chen readily accepted it. On the side, Lin's mother had been staring in astonishment for a while, at a loss for words. This scene was just seen by the villagers not far away. They couldn't help but start gossiping one by one. "I can't believe Cheng Da actually wants to give this woman a gift. What is this woman's background? That idiot has such skills, finding such a beautiful and talented woman like this. Looks like in the future we really can't mess with the Liu family anymore." Chapter 40, Triumphantly. Liu Wei received $20,000 from Cheng Da and gave half to Lu Chen, which was seen by villagers nearby. One by one, they couldn't help but start discussing it. I can't believe Cheng Da actually wants to give this woman a gift. What is this woman's background? No matter how powerful a woman is, she still has to respect Lu Shaziha. That idiot has such skills, finding such a beautiful and talented woman like this. It seems that in the future we can't casually mess with the Lu family anymore. The envious gazes of the crowd are directed towards Lu Chen. After walking, go to your house and do the work. Liu Wei shouted softly towards Cheng Da, a famous expert. Please this way, two people. Cheng Da warmly made a welcoming gesture towards the two of them. 3 people went to the village chief's house together, while Ling Thuman carried the 200,000 yuan and walked home. In the village, the people warmly greeted her one by one when they saw her. Thuman, your son is really lucky. He found such a promising woman. Yes, Lu Chen is really capable. Yusun Lu Chen is really amazing. The crowd competed to flatter Lin Mingxiu. What skills? I don't know what the future holds yet. Lin Mingxiu laughed and replied, saying such words with her mouth but feeling joy blooming in her heart. This sense of honor probably only existed 5 years ago when my son achieved the top score in the city's college entrance exam. Later on, those days became even more bitter than bitter melon. After all the hard work, finally achieving today's success, Lin Xiuman naturally wants to celebrate it properly. On the way, villagers greeted continuously with compliments. Lin Xiuman did not conceal the joy in her heart either. She smiled and waved to the crowd, saying, I won't say any more. I have to hurry back home to cook. We have guests coming over today, so I have to make more delicious dishes for lunch. Lu Chen, who had not walked far, heard his mother's happy smile, feeling reassured in his heart. Once proud of myself in the village, I was the pride of my parents, but since becoming a foolish person, my mother has never smiled again. Today, I vented my anger by beating up Mao Davu, which helped me release some pent-up frustration. Next, Cheng Da took it. This bastard has been bullying our family for so many years, this grudge must be avenged. Upon arrival, the 2 masters immediately started their work. Cheng Dana leading Liu Wei to his own home, he impatiently urged, the 2 masters must remember to bring all the good fortune of the village, especially the good fortune of the Liu family, none of it can be left behind. Liu Wei glanced at Cheng Da and said, go first and brew the best tea. All right, Cheng Da replied politely. Wait, doing this later will surely attract the evil spirits, he must be prepared to ward off evil. Lu Chen reminded. When Cheng Da took advantage of the good fortune of the Liu family, he thought he would scam that bastard out of even more money. In the given array, avoid evil. Cheng Da shook his head and said, I don't know how to avoid it. Stay away from evil by using gold. Lu Chen cleared his throat and said, how about this, when we perform the ritual later, you should wear all of your family's gold jewelry. Yes, gold can ward off evil. Cheng Da said excitedly. This thing, I have plenty of it at home. You go make tea first. All right. Cheng Dajuang happily entered the house, made tea and left. Liu Wei suddenly understood, walked towards Lu Chen and whispered, are you planning on squandering these gold coins too? Upon seeing this array, Lu Chen was greatly surprised. In the array, we two in our past lives were probably husband and wife. Liu Wei smiled and winked at Lu Chen, saying, I understand what you're thinking. Let me arrange the rest of the plot for you. Okay, I'll do as you say. Lu Chen agreed readily. After a moment, Cheng Dajuang brewed a pot of tea, then went back to the room and brought out the golden tea set. The guy was seen wearing 3 gold bracelets on each hand, 4 thick gold chains around his neck, and all 10 fingers adorned with rings. After coming down, it's probably worth tens of thousands of dollars. Good, the upcoming ceremony is a bit sinister. Liu Wei solemnly reminded Cheng Da. You must not let strangers in, and if you encounter anything strange, don't shout. After all, you are wearing so much gold, it won't harm you. Don't worry, I won't even let a fly in. The front door is already locked. Cheng Da nodded approvingly. After that, I will set up a 5 ghost wealth formation for you. Liu Wei agreed with a shout. suddenly rushing to the middle of the hall, quickly pulling out the peach wood sword and starting to perform the Tang Gang steps. The beautiful woman could be seen using her sword to point to the east one moment, and then using her sword to strike to the west the next moment, occasionally taking out a few talismans and scattering them into the air. The action is indeed quite skillful. Those who do not know might think this beauty is a master. Suddenly, Liu Wai took out 5 candles from the bag and placed them in 5 different directions. Next, the beautiful woman picked up her sword and began to dance. After shouting loudly, Liu Wai pointed his peach wood sword towards the candle, and with a whoosh, the candle lit up on its own. Great, beautiful, amazing. Cheng De clapped excitedly. After swinging his sword, Liu Wai stabbed a candle towards Cheng De now beside him, saying, "Western demons, bring fortune come." Once again, with a whoosh, a candle was lit. The southern fierce ghost brings fortune rise. The northern water ghost brings good fortune go. The middle big demon bringing prosperity come. In Liu Wai's mouth, he muttered words while dancing with his sword, and in a moment, he had lit all 5 candles in different directions. The whole journey was done without using a lighters. Chengda, with a look of horror on his face, widened his eyes and couldn't help but mutter softly, "Amazing, amazing. This money is worth spending." He was completely amazed by the skills demonstrated by Liu Wai. Donor, the wealth in the world has a fixed amount. Liu Wai put away the peach wood sword and glanced at Lu Chen. Lu Chen expression indifferently towards Cheng De and asked, "Now please invite the 5 ghosts. Who will you borrow luck from the landlord of the Lu family?" "Ah." Cheng De scratched his head in confusion. "Speak quickly, take gold as a deposit," Liu Wai whispered. "Yes, take the gold as a deposit," Cheng De quickly nodded in response. "Okay, this evening, when there is no one around, go bury your deposit 5 meters west of the Lujia ancestral tomb," Liu Wai answered calmly. Cheng De took out his heart each and said, "I am afraid that I will have to sell this whole body of gold for more than 20,000. Will they all be buried?" After that, Lu Chen immediately added, "It's a deposit. Is the deposit refundable?" Liu Wai asked. "After 3 years, you can retrieve it. Pledge 10 taels of gold to the Dark Lord, and I will return to you 30 million in the mortal world." Liu Wai replied with a serious expression, "If you are unwilling to pledge, then so be it." Afterwards, Mr. Cheng nodded repeatedly, saying, "I am willing to bet that I will go bury the gold in the evening." Contract formation, come. Let's shed some blood. Liu Wai took out a piece of talisman paper and a silver needle, and directly pricked Cheng De's finger with a needle. Immediately, a stream of bright red blood gushed out and dripped onto the talisman paper. "Hey, what's this?" Cheng De said in a frightened voice, his face full of horror. "After making a deal with the demon, you must bury the gold you are wearing today within the day, and you are not allowed to retrieve it within 3 years. Otherwise, you will suffer a tragic death." After seeing that, Cheng De was scared out of his wits. "Are you able to do it or not?" Liu Wai said coldly. When he heard I can make it, I'll go burying gold tonight. Cheng De felt sweat on his forehead. "Okay, now, let's start repenting." Lu Chen hummed in response. After the array, "Do you want to repent more?" Cheng De was shocked on his face. "In the array mentioned above, you must repent." Lu Chen said seriously, "Quickly confess all the bad things you have done in the past 3 years." He has asked Liu Wai to start recording. Cheng De is very unwilling to do this. "Speak up, it's okay. Master Liu is not a fool now, he's a master. The 5 ghosts are asking you questions. Don't be careless, otherwise, the consequences will be serious. People can be deceived, but ghosts cannot be easily deceived." Liu Wai glanced at Cheng De and urged, "Speak up. Only when you speak can the 5 ghosts help you borrow luck. Focus on talking about wealth." After biting his teeth, Cheng De said, 2 years ago, the village raised 50,000 to repair the ancestral hall. I pocketed 20,000. The actual cost of the village road was only 70,000. I took 30,000 in kickbacks. And then there's the land behind the mountain. I took 15,000 in kickbacks from Mr. Lai. This guy spilled all the money he had been greedy for over the years. After finishing the ceremony, Liu Wai stood up and calmly said, "Within 3 years, you will definitely have good fortune. When it happens, remember to thank me again. For now, I'll give you a small gift as a token of goodwill. Thank you, Master Liu, and Master Liu, come. This is a little token of my appreciation. Chengda smiled and handed 2 thick red envelopes to the two of them. Go. Liu Wei and Liu Chen accepted the red envelope and left gracefully. The 2 people returned to the Liu family. After making a single explosive profit of over 20,000, there is still a jar of gold to be collected in the evening. How satisfying. Liu Wei smiled and instructed Liu Chen, go collect the gold tonight. Together, let's go. Liu Chen laughed. After saying that, Liu Wei smiled and waved to Liu Chen saying, I'll leave first. I still need a little more, just a few tens of thousands, and a few more orders should be enough. What you need so much money for? Liu Chen asked curiously. Ha, you don't understand. When the time comes, I will naturally tell you. Liu Wei chuckled and straddled the motorcycle, then turned his head and waved at Liu Chen saying, let's go. After saying that, he started the motorcycle and rode off. Regarding this array, are you leaving already? Lin Mingxiu chased after him. You haven't even had lunch yet? In the evening he will come again. Liu Chen nodded to his mother and said, let's go. We made a little profit today. In the afternoon, let's go to the bank to deposit the money. Lin Xiumin asked in confusion, child, why did Chengde give so much money to Miss Liu? Regarding this array, who cares? This bastard's money is all looted from the villagers. Liu Chen replied to his mother with a smile. What goes in, must come out.